Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here at T. Roy Cooks. I really appreciate it. I've had quite a few of you ask how I trim a brisket. Let me show you. Now what you need is a fillet knife or some kind of a thin blade knife like this, okay? I got about a 17 and a half pound brisket here. You just want to start trimming it down. You can tell the meat is like right here, and this is the fat. So you want to try to trim most of that fat down. So I'm gonna get a little closer here. Where did I start cutting at? Here we go. Just start trying to trim all this down. And this whole area right here, this is gonna be a fat cap right here. So if you cut down starting, close to where the meat is here, you can start trimming it way back. You don't have to get it all the first time. You can come back and do it some more. So, I'll turn this where y'all can see it anyway. There we go. This particular brisket has a lot of fat on it, by the way. A lot of them don't come with quite this much fat on it. And if you get a shiner, you get down into the meat, that is quite okay. Don't worry about it. In fact, like we were discussing about bark. The more meat you have, the less fat. The more meat you have, the more area that you have where you can actually get some bark. I'm just trying to, hope y'all can see this okay. Again, I'm just trying to go down here where all this meat is. There we go. That's looking really nice right there. Okay. Let's cut some more up here. And try not to cut yourself when you're doing this, folks. That would not be good. Again, I'm just slowly trimming all of this fat away. Layer by layer, slowly by slowly, getting it all trimmed down here. I'm getting pretty close to the meat here. All right. So I get a little shiner right here. I just pulled up right there. That's fine. Don't worry about it. All right, then you start working this other way here. See, that's nothing but fat. Just cut it all away. Uh-oh. Fifi sounds riled up over there, y'all. All right, now I'm getting into some meat right here. That way I'll know where the meat's at. There we go. You want to try to leave a little bit more fat on this end, this point end right here. See, this is the point, this is the flat. You want a little bit more meat on, more fat on this end because this is going to be facing the firebox on the offset, and that's going to absorb all that heat right there. So that's fine if you leave a little bit extra fat on this point end here, is what I'm saying. All right. You also kind of want to try to make it aerodynamic, so it's got a nice curve. You don't have a lot of jagged edges all hanging out everywhere. Man, you could just spend days trimming this thing if you really wanted to. All right, that's looking pretty good. A little bit right here I don't really want. Let me see if I can cut a little bit of this off. There we go. So I can turn this so y'all can see it. So I got a little bit right here. I'm just going to try to trim this and make it straight. Just like so. There we go. That'll work. What do we have on this side? Not a whole lot. I mean, this is looking pretty doggone good. Cut a little bit of it. Let me pull this on this end here so I can get on the edge. Come on, T-Roy. Get your mouth straight there, boy. There we go. Our helmet's back in. You can always cut some of that off like that. And we're getting real close to the meat here. All right. We got a little bit here. Try a little bit of this off. There we go. Like so. There we go. Folks, that's looking pretty good for the first side here. I think I will try to cut a little bit of this off here, off this end. If you got a real thin, I mean, when you're, I didn't mention this earlier, but when you're looking for brisket, try to get one that's got a nice thick flat right here, so that the flat and the point are about, you know, kind of close to the same thickness. It's not going to be all exact, but you know, but see how this end right here is kind of thin. What you could do, and also I'm going to show you a little tip here too. If you flip this thing over, you see the grain here in the flat area is running this way, like that. And here in the point, it's running across this way. Now, if you really wanted to, what you could do, since you're going to be cutting across the grain, you could cut this tip off, and that way it'll show you where to cut when you start making your cuts. That gives you an idea. That is across the grain right there. So you can start cutting this way and then slowly work your way across here. By the time you get here in the middle, where the flat and the point separate, you can cut straight down the middle and cut this off, rotate it 90 degrees and cut it so that you're cutting it this way. So you can do that if you want to. All right, let's see if I can get me. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. This big hunk of fat right here, this area where the duckle is, I'm gonna try to cut that out. See if I can get this where y'all can still see it on camera. Y'all still see that okay? And let me see if I can switch gears here. Let me come over this way. Y'all see that okay? Yeah, I think you can. I'm gonna try to cut down in here. Like that. And cut down in here. This is that huge area of fat right here that you really don't want. This is not going to render out. That's just a big old hunk of fat. Okay, and you can just keep trimming over here like this. Looking pretty good. Come on now. I'm just trying to get it where I can get an edge on it here. Yeah, y'all can still see that. Okay, we're good. There we go. Get off me. See, that's the decal right there. That is not going to render out. I'll cut a little bit more of this right here off if I really wanted to be crazy about it, but I'm not. You know, this is just for me and Karen. This is not a competition barbecue trim at all. If you want to see some good trimming of some brisket, you need to go check out my buddy who is actually in barbecue competitions, James, over at Aim 'em and Claim 'em Smokers. I'll put a link to his channel down below in the description box. All right, and as far as, let me switch gears again. As far as all this silver skin on the top, you really don't have to worry a whole lot about it. If you wanted to, you could spend all day doing this too, just trimming all this off. Just kind of get up under it like so. But again, I am not super concerned about this. I'm just trying to kind of trim this baby up and make it look pretty, but you don't have to go crazy with it. There we go. Try to get some of this off here. There we go. All right, folks. There we go. And again, just a little bit here. There we go. Get this little fat off here. And again, man, if you're real picky, you can just keep picking away at this. It's not gonna hurt anything to leave some of this on there, believe me. Not gonna hurt a thing at all. Trim a little bit of this off the edge here. There we go. That's looking pretty nice. I mean, I have to say, it's not perfect by any means, but that looks pretty doggone good. Got a little bit of fat right here in the very front. I could trim some of that off of there. Just like so. Trim this off right here. Kind of do that. Just like so. That's looking pretty good. That's looking really good. Flip it over again, see what we got here. And again, on this front edge, I'm just trying to round it, trying to make it a little bit more aerodynamic. To let that air flow around it real good, you know, from the pit. But that's basically it. I think that looks good enough. Again, not perfect. This is not a standard competition barbecue type trimming. This is just a backyard barbecue type trimming. That's what we've got, folks. Just like that. And on this thin end right here, if you wanted to, you could kind of cut that off right there. It's not gonna hurt anything. Make it streamlined like that. There we go. Yeah, that looks real good. There it is, folks. That's how I trim up a brisket. And again, it's not perfect by any means. It's not competition style, but it'll work. Hope y'all give it a try. If y'all like this, y'all give me a thumbs up like that. Hope you share the video. And when you do, please tell all your friends that T-Roy cooks responsibly. Cheers, everybody.